Well, happy holidays and Merry Christmas, everyone. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I hope you guys are all having a phenomenal day today. And we're going to be jumping right into the video for today. It's actually a shop vlog. If you guys have kind of been following us over the past 4 to 6 weeks, we've been getting ready for our 2021 sprint car season, and there's a lot of work to do during this off season to prepare for it. One of the first videos that you guys saw us make was actually where we tore down both sprint cars that we ran during 2020 between the Limited and the 360. We tore them down to bare frames, got them sent back to KPC to get them fixed so we could get them back kind of here at the beginning of 2021 and rebuild them. And then once we sent those off, that made a little bit of room in the shop. We were able to start building our new car for 2021 that hasn't hit the racetrack before. So in these last few shop vlogs, you guys have seen us work really hard to try to get that thing as close as possible to being a roller. So by the time we get those other 2 frames back from KPC, we can actually move this thing out of the shop and then move those frames in to start building them. And for a while, our progress was going really well. It started to slow down probably over the past 2 weeks because we were just missing a few parts that were holding up the whole operation, but we finally were able to kind of continue earlier this week building the car. But since it is winter time here in Southern Oregon, it's pretty chilly outside. Let's head inside to the race shop. So here is an updated look at our 2021 sprint car. This thing sure is coming together very nicely, and it's been an absolute joy to get the opportunity to put it together during the off season. In the last shop vlog, I talked about not being able to put the motor plate on the car. So we accomplished that in today's video. We got the housing, the ball, the torque tube, all of that hooked up to the rear end. We were also able to get the steering box and the seat in the car during this episode. But before we get into the footage of that for today's episode, I want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Rod End Supply. We just recently had to order some stuff through them for this new race car. And when they sent us all the parts, they also included some merchandise to wear in the videos and at the racetrack. Got a couple Rod End Supply hats, beanies, even a stagger tape. And I believe there was even a few other things included. So that was just a super nice gesture. Thank you to everyone over at Rod End Supply. But now let's roll the footage from earlier this week when my crew chief Roger Henderson and myself were working in the race shop to get this thing closer and closer to being a complete car. So it was a pretty foggy Tuesday morning at the Holmes racing shop in Southern Oregon. We got to work, and one of the first things we wanted to accomplish was to get the motor plate on the sprint car. As I had talked about in a few prior videos, this had been holding us up because we were missing the tie studs, which hold the housing onto the motor plate. And since we were missing those, we couldn't do the torque ball, torque tube, or any of that to connect it to the rear end. So that was definitely one of the first things we wanted to get on the race car. So in this shot, you can see I'm tightening up those 9/16 bolts, which is holding that motor plate to the center part of the sprint car chassis. Now we are going to be able to continue the work and continue to make progress and do certain things that we weren't able to do when that motor plate wasn't on the car. As you can see, we're sliding in the torque tube, the ball, and the drive shaft into the center part of the sprint car. It's kind of nice to put that all together before you slide it in. It just makes the job a lot easier, and then you're going to be able to connect it to the rear end. So in this shot, you see me kind of working on the snap ring. I'm working on sliding it in to kind of hold it all together. Once I'm able to complete that, I can get my bolts out and start tightening them up from the torque tube, which holds that torque tube, into the rear end, and then it doesn't come apart, and we can kind of working on getting it all in the right spot. So the process that you guys just saw us do honestly wasn't that difficult, and that's something I wanted to touch on real quick. It is so valuable to get the opportunity to work in the shop and learn how to put together these race cars properly. As a driver, you know, it's not always about how you do on the racetrack. Obviously, results matter, but half the battle is putting the cars together right in the shop. And you guys know the saying, races are won in the shop. So definitely during this off season, it's great for me to get to learn more and more about sprint cars and learn how to put them together. So in the future, I'll be able to do that to the best of my ability. Now in this next shot, you'll see us getting the seat in, and this is also something that's very important. You have to get the seat in at the right time, because as you get the car farther and farther along, it becomes more and more difficult, especially with like the halo on top, to do that. So now you're going to see me kind of bolt that thing up and get it mounted in the car to the right spot. At the end of that time lapse, you might have noticed that we were able to slide the steering box into the car, but we had to zip tie it to the frame because we are missing one of our clamps for it, which actually should be in here at the beginning of this next week. And that's kind of a lot of what's still going on with our operation. We're missing just a few little things to kind of make this thing a roller, but we're still making great progress. So now we got the tank on. As I was tightening that up, Roger was working on a few things in the cockpit to kind of finish that up as well. But other than that, man, we made some great progress for the day and just kind of still chugging along, doing a lot of little things.
Believe it or not, sometimes it's really hard to get these outer shells on the car and in the right spot. You know, 3 of the holes might line up to get the bolts in, but 1 doesn't. So you really just kind of have to get it in the perfect spot and try to get all 4 of them in and started before you tighten any of them up. But here's a few shots of the car. It's really starting to look more and more like a sprint car every single time we work on it, which just gets me more and more excited for 2021. So like I said, we still are missing just a few things here for the race car, but a lot of those parts are going to come in here at the beginning of this next week, and we're going to be able to finish this thing up before those other cars get back from KPC.
Well, a successful day of work in the race shop. We might have one more shop vlog out before the end of 2020, but I'm just not sure yet. With Christmas coming up next week, we have our last race of Red Bluff this weekend, so still a lot is going to be going on. I'm still going to be bringing a lot of content here to the YouTube channel, but we might have to finish this thing up after the new year starts, but also an update on those other frames that went down to KPC. They are being finished up and actually should be here next week. But overall, there's just a lot of work that needs to be done before our season starts at the end of February and beginning of March. Here at Holmes Racing, we run all year round between the Outlaw carts and the sprint car. There's not too many off weekends, but we really enjoy it and we love what we do. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in. 2 quick things before we end today's YouTube video. If you guys want exclusive content, you want more Tanner Holmes vlogs, definitely look into becoming a channel member by hitting that join button down below, or link it up here on the YouTube card. By becoming a channel member, you get access to all my extra videos that I posted. I believe we're up to like 17 or 18, but last month alone, if you were a channel member, you got 6 extra vlogs throughout the month. So definitely look into becoming a channel member. And then also, if you have not subscribed yet to my second channel, I've been uploading onboards on there 6 days a week. Full A main event, heat race, qualifier, qualifying onboards. And then also I'm gonna be uploading more clips to it with this next project that I'm getting ready to start in a couple weeks. So you guys are gonna wanna stay tuned for that. Anyway, it's been a fun off season. We're kind of continue to relax, but also go racing on the weekends at Red Bluff, and overall just enjoy the holiday season. So anyway, we're gonna finish this thing up over the next couple of weeks. Excited to bring that content here to the YouTube channel. If you guys have not yet subscribed, we are so close to 40,000 subscribers, and I am absolutely just living the dream, and I love what I do. So anyway, we will talk soon. Have a good one. Remember guys, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Deuces.